When I have only one character, then it is character. And when I have more than two characters, that's nothing but the collection of character. Suppose if I want to concatenate in the sense what? I just want to combine, or I just want to club two strings. String objects are created by using two ways. One is by string literals, another one is by new keyword. Hello to all, a warm welcome to my new session on visibility modifiers. I'm your Revati ma'am, faculty from the Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So dear student, in my today's session, once again I'm going to deal with visibility modifiers, in the sense what are the different kinds of visibility modifiers we are going to have under Java. Now, before going to start my today's session, let me to recall the topic what I have discussed in my previous session. So dear student, in my previous session, I started with finally keyword, in the sense why I want finally keyword and where I can able to use finally keyword. So dear student, I can able to use finally keyword with variables, with the class as well as with the method. So dear student, if I use finally keyword with the data declaration, then what's going to happen? Whatever the value I'm going to define, that is constant throughout the program, in the sense I cannot able to modify the values. And if I use finally keyword with the class, then what's going to happen? I cannot able to extend the class, in the sense I cannot able to inherit the class. Then if I use final keyword with method, then it's not possible to override the method. Along with that, I have discussed what is finalized method and what is finalization. So dear student, the finalized method is used with the finally block in order to perform garbage collection. So these are the certain topic I have discussed in my previous session, and from the examination point of view, all these topics are very important. Now in my today's session, at the beginning I'm going to deal with what is access modifier and why we required access modifier. Along with that, I'm going to deal with Java strings. Along with that, I'm going to deal with how I can able to create Java string by using new keyword, what is string buffer classes, and some of the constructors supported by the string buffer class, as well as I'm going to have string buffer class append method. So these are the certain topic I'm going to deal in my today's session. And dear student, from the examination point of view, strings are very important. So dear student, let's begin our session with the topic, that is access modifiers in Java. So why I want access modifier? What is the need of access modifier? So dear student, Java is known as object-oriented programming language, in the sense I can able to protect my data. So Java programming supports data encapsulation as well as data abstraction. Now, to achieve data abstraction, I have access modifier. So by using access modifier, I'm going to restrict the access of data as well as methods as well as classes. So there are two types of access modifier, that is non-access modifier and access modifier. So dear student, what is access modifier? In the sense, I'm going to restrict the user, program and classes from accessing the classes, data members, methods, etc. And if I consider non-access modifiers, then I have static, abstract, synchronized, native, volatile and transient. So these are the certain keywords which is going to support non-access modifier. Now dear student, let's see what is access modifier. So here the access modifiers in Java specifies the accessibility. It is nothing but the permission or scope of a field, method, constructor or class. So dear student, think that okay, in front of my house I have some place. Now the person only belongs to that house can able to park their vehicle within the compound, and others they can able to park their vehicle outside the compound. So what I'm going to do? I'm going to provide the boundary so that I can able to park my vehicle and others can able to park their vehicle. Even if I consider programming language, here I'm going to provide the scope or permission that who can able to access the data, methods, constructors, class and who is not. So what is access modifier? In Java, that specifies the accessibility, in the sense rights to access the data or rights to use the method or rights to use the constructor or rights to use the class. We can change the access level of a field. That means in Java, I can able to change the access level of a field, constructor, methods and class. In the sense, I can able to modify the access level manually by using access modifier. Anyway, dear student, let's see what are the different kinds of access modifiers we are going to have under Java, that is private. So private in the sense what? It is own. Okay, the access level of a private modifier is only within the class and cannot be accessed from the outside of the class. So dear student, while defining fields, methods, constructor or class, suppose if I use the access modifier private, then that indicates that we can able to use all these properties within the class. In the sense, I cannot able to use outside the class. For example, I have a class called A, and if I define private A, that is int A comma B. Now I can able to use these two fields within the class A, but I cannot able to use these two fields, that is A and B, outside the class. I cannot able to use because it is private to that class. Now I have another modifier, that is default. It's a access level of a default modifier is only within the package. So I can able to use default modifier only in my package, and the accessing level is also within the package. Anyway, dear student, we are going to study what is package, what is the need of package and how to define the package, how to use the package in my upcoming sessions. It cannot be accessed from the outside the package. So dear students, suppose if I use the keyword default in my package, then I cannot able to use the fields, methods as well as constructors outside the package. Now dear student, I am going to have another access modifier, that's nothing but the protected. So dear student, the access level of a protected modifier is within the package. So dear student, suppose while defining package, if I use a keyword or if I use a access modifier protected, then that indicates that I can able to use the classes as well as methods as well as fields within the package, and I cannot able to use outside the package. Now I'm going to have another access modifier that is known as public. So public in the sense what? It's like a public property, in the sense all the classes or all the methods or all the constructors are accessed throughout the class. So the access level of a public modifier is that everywhere it can be accessed, in the sense all the data members, fields, methods, class, constructor, all can be accessed within the program. So it can be accessed from within the class or outside the class. So if while defining fields or data members, class or constructor, if I use public, then it can be used within the class and outside the class. So the scope of these fields are throughout the program. So these are the 4 different types of access modifier supported by the Java program. Now I'm going to have Java string. So dear student, let me to ask you one question, that what a string? And what is the difference between string and character? So dear student, if I consider character, to define character, I'm going to use the data type char, and I'm going to write the C within the single quote. Now this character is capable to store only one character at a time. Now what is string? It's nothing but a collection of character. When I have only one character, then it is character. And when I have more than 2 characters, that's nothing but the collection of character. To represent that, I'm going to have this string. So what a string here? That is nothing but the sequence of character. In Java, string is basically an object that represents sequence of character value. An array of character is also known as Java string, or collection of character is also known as Java string. Now this is the syntax I'm going to have. Okay, see here, char and ch, it is nothing but the array of character, it's nothing but the collection of character, and I'm going to store Java point. Now string, so here string is also a data type, and I'm going to create the object, that is S. Okay, in the sense, see here I have the sequence of character which is stored in array of character. Now I'm going to convert this into string, and see here, if I write string S equal to Java point, once again it is treated as array of character or sequence of character. Now if I consider Java string, okay, so these are the certain built-in functions supported by the string class. So Java string class provides a lot of methods to perform string operation. And in that first one, I have compare. So dear student, to compare two strings, I'm going to use compare method. For example, say I have string 1, str1 equal to Vidhyaashram first grade college, that is FG, so that is VFGC. Now in my string 2, I have small letter V, F, G, C. Okay, now I want to compare both the string, that is capital letter FG's, that is VFGC, and small letter VFGC. Both are same or not. Now, if I compare, if str1 equal to str2, what's the answer I'm going to get? It is false, because I have uppercase letter, here I have lowercase letter, and ASCII values of these letters are varies. For that reason, I'm going to get the false output. So this is wrong, because both the strings are different. Now, suppose if I want to concatenate in the sense what? I just want to combine, or I just want to club two strings. For example, say I have str1, that is Java, and I have str2, that is PRG. Okay, now I just want to combine. So I'll write str1 plus str2. This is also concatenate or combine, or even I can able to call the method concat str1 comma str2. So what's the answer I'm going to get? That is Java program. And I want to check two strings are equal. So for that, I'm going to have the equals method. And there are certain situations I want to split these strings. Okay, now to split these strings, I'm going to have the method called split. And see, I have another method called length. And why I'm going to use length method? So dear student, here I'm going to use length method to get the length of the string. For example, think that I have string 1, that is Java PRG. Okay, now if I call length method, what's the output I'm going to get? It is 8. That is, length of the string is 8, even including white space. Now, replace. So, dear student, there are certain time I just want to replace this string. Now, to replace this string, I'm going to have the method called replace. So these are the certain methods which is supported by the Java string. Now dear student, what is string in Java? So generally, if I consider any programming language, strings are nothing but the sequence of character or array of character. But in Java, strings are nothing but the object. So in Java, what is string? It's nothing but the object that represents sequence of character. Once again, what a string in Java? It's nothing but the object, and it's nothing but the sequence of characters. And in Java, I can able to use java.language.string class to create string object. So dear student, in Java, strings are nothing but the object. Now, to create string object, I want to import java.language.string class in my program. And how to create a string object. So dear student, string objects are created by using two ways. One is by string literals, another one is by new keyword. So dear student, if I go with string literals, say here str1 s equal to welcome. Okay, then if I create string s1 equal to welcome. Okay, now let's see what's going to happen. See here, I have string s and it is welcome. It holds welcome. Here I have string s1 and it's going to hold welcome. Okay, now I have both objects s and s1, but both are going to hold same string, that is welcome. Now see here, both s1 and s are going to point welcome, because suppose if I use string literals, it's going to create string constant pool. Okay, that means whatever the string I'm going to assign, that time it's going to create, or it's going to create space in heap memory. Okay, now see here, both the objects will hold same value. So both the objects are going to point same welcome message. In the sense, I'm going to have only one copy of welcome in my heap memory. Now, if I consider the string object by using new keyword. So, dear student, here string, I want to specify the string and s is nothing but the object name. And I'm going to assign welcome. Now, it creates two objects and one reference variable. Okay, so it's going to create two objects and only one referencing variable. In such cases, what the JVM is do? JVM, that is Java Virtual Machine, will create a new string object in normal non-pool heap memory, and the literal welcome will be placed in the string constant pool. So dear student, if I write like this, what's going to happen? It is going to create a object S, and where it is going to create a object S, that is in normal way. Okay, that is not in the string constant pool. But if I consider string literals, what's going to happen? In string constant pool, it's going to assign the string. Okay, this is the difference between string literal and string is created by using new keyword. Now dear student, I'm going to have simple Java program. Okay, so here what is my class name? That is string example. Inside that, I'm going to have the main function. And see here, I'm going to have S1, that is Java, and I'm going to have array of character, that is string. Now what I will do, I'm going to create S2 and I'm going to make a reference to CH. So what is CH? That's nothing but the array of character. Now string S3 equal to new string, and I'm going to pass example, and I am going to call S1, S2 and S3. So what's going to happen? What is S1? I'm going to get the answer Java. Then what is S2? That is nothing but strings. And I'm going to get the output example. Okay, this is the output of this program. Now, dear student, I'm going to have string buffer classes. So, if I consider Java string buffer class that is used to create mutable in the sense what? Modifiable string object. So, dear student, if I want to create modifiable string object, then I'm going to use string buffer. So, the string buffer class in Java is the same as the string class except it is mutable. So, dear student, if I consider string class and string buffer class, both are same except if I go with string buffer class, then I can able to modify the string object. In the sense, it can be changed. Now, important constructors of string buffer class. In the sense, the string buffer class provides some constructor that is string buffer. So, if I call string buffer, what's going to happen? It is going to create an empty string buffer with the initial capacity 16. So, dear student, if I want to create empty string buffer with the capacity 16 byte, then I can able to use string buffer. Now, string buffer, string str. See here, I have the parameter. So, it creates a string buffer with the specified string. In the sense, suppose if I want to create a string with the specified string, then I'm going to use string buffer. Now, string buffer int capacity. It creates an empty string with the specified capacity as length. That means according to my need, I'm going to define the capacity of string buffer. Now, these are the certain example for string buffer classes. Now, dear student, I'm going to have string buffer class that is append methods. In the sense, in string buffer class, I have a method called append. What is the need of append method? Suppose if I want to append anything after this string, then I'm going to use append method. So, dear students, see here, this is the example program I have. Okay, before that, let me to consider some example here. Say, I have to tell hi Java class. Okay, think that I have hi Java in my one string, that is str1, and in str2 I have class. Now what I want to do? I want to append this class after hi Java. Okay, for that I'm going to have append method in my string buffer class. So while calling append method, okay, what I will do? I'm going to pass the string. So, dear student, this is the example program, and what is my program name? That is string buffer example. Now, see here, I have the method, that is main method in my program. See here, I'm going to create string buffer object SB by using new. So, here new is an operator and which is used to create object. Okay, when I create the object, what's going to happen? It is responsible for allocating the memory as well as resources. And what I'm going to store? That is hello. Now, SB is responsible for holding hello. Now for that I want to append Java. So what I will do, with the help of object SB, I am going to call the method append and I am going to pass the string. What is the string? Java. And now I am going to print the output, that is system.out.println, and I am going to get the output hello Java. This is the output of my program. So dear student, in my today's session, I started with access modifier. Along with that, I have discussed Java string as well as Java buffer classes. And from the examination point of view, all these topics are very important, in the sense strings as well as buffer strings are very important, and you can able to expect one short question under these two topic. Anyway, dear student, in my next session I'm going to start with second unit. Under that I'm going to deal with inheritance and polymorphism. Anyway, dear student, let's meet in the next session with the new unit, that is inheritance and polymorphism. Until that, keep watching and keep learning. Thank you.